Good evening, my fellow winners. Steve here with Success by the Book. We're discussing Dale Carnegie's book, How to Win Friends and Influence People in a Digital Age. And today we begin a new section, 6 Ways to Make a Lasting Impression. Most of the times we only get one chance to make a first impression, so we have to make it count. It's more than just dressing properly and any college degree that you may have. I remember years ago when I only had an associate degree in electronics, and I had an electric sign manufacturing business. And one day I had a man stop by to look for a job. He literally had a PhD with this documentation to prove it. His problem, he was totally devoid of personality. I didn't hire him, but I kept his application on file as a reminder that sometimes education is one of the least attributes in achieving success. Now, I'm not trying to minimize the importance of education, but I am saying that if you don't have a particular degree, you can still achieve success. So the first principle in winning friends is to take interest in them. Find out what interests others, and you'll begin to gain influence. And secondly, apply that principle. Talk about their interests, and you become their fan. Now, why is that important? Fans have access. Access leads to connection. Connection leads to relationships. Relationships leads to affinity. Affinity leads to influence, and influence leads to conversion. Once you convert someone to your side, they will buy from you, promote you, and talk favorably of you. Okay, the word affinity. What's that mean? Affinity is likability. Affinity means that you've gained their friendship. Affinity on both sides, however, it has to be genuine. Now, the second principle in making a lasting impression is to smile. My wife and I, along with our son, own a real estate business. And each year we have to take continuing education classes. And during one of the classes, the instructor suddenly stopped and he asked me what I was smiling about. I replied, "Oh, I didn't realize that I was smiling. I guess it's my resting face." That answer got a lot of smiles around the room. Now, smiling won't keep you out of trouble, but studies show that in a courtroom, there's what's known as the smile leniency effect. Smiling is innate. Babies usually produce some sort of a smile within 12 hours of birth. And although it's hard to convey emotions through our digital world communications, we make an attempt with smiling face emojis. The author here makes a couple of interesting statements concerning making a lasting impression. First, that when you smile, the world smiles with you. And second, smile, it increases your face value. Are you smiling? Next, we must try to remember a person's name if at all possible. I don't drink alcoholic beverages, but one of the most popular TV shows ever was called Cheers. And the lyrics in the theme song repeats the phrase, where everybody knows your name, 11 times. The song basically says that when everything seems to be going wrong, you want to go where everybody knows your name. The Bible says that a good name is rather to be chosen than great riches. Our name is synonymous with our reputation. Name some well-known names and you instantly have a picture in your mind about their character. Remembering people's names is critical in business. Greeting a person by name conveys the idea that they're important to you. And we must remember that a person is more interested in his or her own name than all the other names on earth. And so whether it's Cheers or church, people want to go where everybody knows your name. And when you're introduced to someone, make it a point to remember their name. One way to remember it is to repeat their name as soon as they say it. If their name is complicated or difficult, ask them to spell it. Carnegie says that names are the sweetest and most important sound in any language. Now, the fourth way to make a lasting impression is to listen longer. Listening's power, like that of smiling, is strong. Go to a therapist, the most common thing you'll hear is, "Yes, go on." Just having someone to listen is therapy to most people. People want to know that you care, and one of the best ways to convey that you care is to listen to them. Now, listening garners great respect. In Carnegie's updated book, the writer suggests that in our digital age, there's a crying need for people who will take time to listen. Psalm 46 encourages us to be still and know that I am God. When we're still, we listen. Audubon from Home wrote about bird songs. There are just some bird songs that stop me in my tracks. I marvel at the complexity, the melody, and the tone. Carnegie ends this chapter by writing, "It's often said that you live and learn, but perhaps an equally important lesson for all of us is that if you listen and learn, you live more harmoniously." Now, step 5 discusses what matters to them. And we love to talk about ourselves. However, if you want to gain influence, discuss what matters to the other person. Especially in this digital world, we need more bridge-building dialogue. You're ultimately building a community when you initiate interactions with what matters most to others. Businesses call this customer retention strategy. The foundation of long-term success is the establishment of trust-based relationships. The bottom line is that relationships involve risk, and if we want to influence other people's lives, we have to be comfortable accepting that risk. And sometimes we have to place some of the things that matters to us in a holding pattern as we listen to what matters to others. This digital age has created a problem in human relationships. When someone says, "I have 3,000 friends on Facebook," are they really friends, or are they simply followers labeled as friends? The friend that you have living across the street from you may be more important than 3/4 of your friends on Facebook. Maybe what is most meaningful to you is being meaningful to others. And finally, if we want to make a lasting impression, we need to leave others a little better off. I was in the Veterans Administration clinic the other day to pick up some prescriptions. And as I talked with a gentleman across the counter from me, I asked him what he did when he was in the service. Well, he said, "Well, I was just an infantryman." I sensed that he was even apologetic about that statement. And I said, "Whoa, you were not just an infantryman. You held one of the most important positions in our military. Those of us in the Air Force and Navy were there to support you. You are never just anything. You're not just a truck driver. We rely on you for everything we consume. You're not just a plumber. Who do we call when things go wrong with our water supply?" And I'll leave you with this little humorous story. A doctor noticed that he had a leak under his sink, so he called a plumber. The plumber came with his tool bag, and within 15 minutes, he had the leak fixed. He handed a doctor a bill for $250. The doctor was astounded. He said, "$250? You got to be kidding me. I'm a doctor and I don't make that kind of money." To that, the plumber replied, "Yes, sir. I didn't make that kind of money when I was a doctor either." Always leave people a little better off, and you might be surprised how big it makes you and how far it takes you. Now, in the next video, we'll look at part 3 at Dale Carnegie's How to Win Friends and Influence People in the Digital Age. We will look at how to merit and maintain others' trust. Now, before you go, I hope you'll consider buying my books. They're basically clean fiction, and my wife loves reading the Jan Karen Mitford series, and she says that my writing style is similar to Jan's, and that's quite a compliment. Just Google Steve Atkins Amazon, and it will take you to my author page. Now, if you haven't already done so, I hope you'll consider subscribing. Please give this video a thumbs up and share this video with your friends. And as always, make it a successful day.